Oh yeah, we are back. That's right. Lovers of horror film, the genre, one of our favorite genres of all time. That's right. We have special guests have returned. Owen from the Action Elite and April Wright, film director and horror lover herself. She knows what she's talking about. She knows her stuff. That's right. As well as Owen. I'm just a knucklehead. I'm just here to hang out. But today, on this episode of Is It Underrated? We're talking about H20 Halloween. That's right, 20 years later, way back, 5 billion years ago, 1998. Way back, way before the What If sequel genre was even a thing that like it is today with, Terminator Dark Fate and Halloween 2018. And that seems to be the buzz nowadays. But, 1998, nobody was doing it around that time. And, they took a crack at it. Did they succeed? We're going to talk about it. This movie's directed by Steve Miner, written by Deborah Hill, John Carpenter, Robert Zappia. And you also pointed out the screenwriter as well, right, Owen?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it was Kevin Williamson, wasn't it? Who did Scream?
Yeah. Right. And of course, I'm not right. And I'm not surprised. I mean, Scream was such a huge hit, and that kind of helped revitalize the slasher genre, right? So they're like, hey, let's have some fun for the 20th anniversary, and let's go bring old Myers back here. We have an extremely ridiculously young Josh Hartnett, Michelle Williams, and a bootleg cameo from Joseph Gordon-Levitt, which kind of cracked me up in here. Mm-hmm. And Jamie Lee Curtis, of course, returning as Laurie Strode here. All right, quick plot synopsis for people who have not seen this. Obviously, we're going. This movie's been out since 1998, so we're going to talk spoilers. But let me go ahead and briefly read this. Here we go. 20 years after Michael Myers' massacre in Haddonfield, Laurie Strode faked her own death, traveled to California, and took on the identity Carrie Tate. Michael discovers Laurie's new identity and travels to California to kill his sister. Laurie must now take on her brother with her son's life at risk. All right, so I'm going to talk about... Well, hold on a second. Everybody's here. What's going on, guys? We got Looney323 in the house. Eric Plantier. Cody. He loved H20. We got some H20 fans here. Jake Hall. What's going on? Adam Evans, excuse me. John Martinez. Heather and Omegon32. All the badasses here hanging out. So I'll talk about my first impressions of the movie. And then we'll get to Owen, and then we'll swing around to April. And after that, we can have a little bit more fun with diving deep into the plot synopsis and all that kind of fun stuff. Now, I have heard that, I don't know what you guys have heard, but I heard that Jamie Lee Curtis really was excited for this kind of project and for this idea, and that something changed along the way, and at the end, she was quoted saying, well, it's a paycheck movie. So I'm not sure in detail what happened there. I don't know what happened. Maybe she had a different vision first, and then they turned it into something. Okay.
I can tell you about it in a minute if you want to.
Yeah. Okay. So really quickly for me, I was young, perfect age. I went to the theater with a whole bunch of my buddies, and we all had fun watching this in the theater. The audience had fun watching this in the theater. You felt satisfied. You weren't blue-balled. And here's the thing. I am approaching this discussion. I am approaching this deep dive and experience with this movie without Resurrection being around. Okay? And we'll get into that a little bit later. But right now, we're discussing Halloween H20. Resurrection does not exist, and we're talking about just this film as a whole and how we experienced it first, and then we can have some fun with that later. But yeah, I had a blast watching it. I bought it later on DVD, watched it again, had a really good time with it. It's just a fun slasher flick, and there's a lot of iconic moments in there. Then I rewatched it last night to prepare for today, just to kind of, because it's been a long time since I revisited it. And you know how it is here on the channel. Sometimes if we haven't watched something in years, we'll revisit it for an episode, and we're like, ooh, man, that didn't hold up or whatnot. Still really enjoyed it, but I'm going to go crazy with the finale because it's fucking awesome. The final act, I like wrote down bullet points. Okay, which we're gonna get to a little bit later, but I will pass it to Owen. Go ahead, my friend.
Okay, yeah. So we were talking about Jamie Lee Curtis. Now, interesting enough, I think this idea is that she used it in Halloween 2018, where initially she was going to be like an alcoholic mess,
Okay.
which she kind of is, but and they didn't want her to have anything, but they wanted to make her have something to lose in this one, so that's why she had the son and everything, and she had the job. So because
Right.
otherwise she was just going to be totally off the rails in Halloween H2O, which I think they really ended up doing with Halloween 2018. So I think that's really what it was. And I know John Carpenter was initially going to direct this one, and then he asked for like 10 million, and they were like, no. And like a 3-picture deal and stuff like that, and then he ended up eventually walking away.
Okay.
So that didn't happen. But yeah, I saw this in the cinema. I think I saw it twice, actually. I always liked it. It's my third favorite in the franchise. It's like the original Halloween 2, the original Halloween 2, and then this one. Because I think Halloween H2O captures the spirit of the original film, where there's no real gore in it. It's more him stalking and watching and being Michael Myers like it was in the original. And it just has the same sort of atmosphere of it. And there's a couple of sort of meta moments, like you've got Janet Leigh from Psycho showing up, who of course is Jamie Lee Curtis's mum, and saying everyone's entitled to one good scare, which of course Sheriff Brackett says in the original Halloween. Now, what's interesting is I have the script. I was looking for it earlier and I couldn't find it, but an earlier version of the script, where I think the more nautical title of Halloween H2O makes more sense, where the finale takes place in the gym of the school in a swimming pool, and Laurie throws a javelin at Michael Myers and he falls into the pool, and they close the lid over the pool and he drowns. And that was the original ending, and I was like,
oh wow, okay.
So I thought, well, maybe that's where they got the H2O from, because you got the water there. It's talk about how he would eventually die, but I think what they ended up doing with the final film worked a lot better. And I thought that it always sort of bothered me that they never sort of referred to Halloween 4, 5, and 6. They kind of just ignored them. But initially, Jodie Lynn O'Keefe's character was going to be studying it and bring it up in class and talk about it. And it was going to initially be a part of the storyline, but then they were just like, no, let's just cut it out of it, and we'll just pretend it didn't happen, kind of thing, and just brush over it. But yeah, I really like this one. The only thing which kind of bugged me about it is I hate what they do with the mask in it. Like, there's like a couple of masks, and it looks a bit weird, particularly towards the end. The mask looks kind of strange, and I still think the original one is the best mask. It's
still the best.
Yeah. I also like what they did with the score, the orchestral version. It's not quite as menacing as the original, and I think there were some rights issues to the music, because I have the score on CD, but it's called Portrait of Terror rather than Halloween. It's like it's a different title, so I don't know if maybe once Carpenter wasn't involved that the rights got all mixed up or something. I'm not sure what happened behind the scenes. So I really like Halloween H2O. I found Josh Hartnett and the young kids actually very appealing. Normally there's like a douche like in the Friday the 13th one, but I actually really liked all the characters, and they were sort of appealing. And you got the kid from Jumanji as well, and yeah, of course you got Robin there from The Dark Knight Rises. Death by Ice Skate, which is definitely new. I like that opening scene. And of course, I got the nurse in the opening scene from the original Halloween, which I like. Yeah, that's going to sting.
Pretty good kill. I like that.
Yeah. So,
but yeah, it's funny you brought up Janet Leigh, because it's kind of funny. She has the car from the Psycho movie. Mm-hmm. That's the same car. And if you listen closely, when she walks away towards the car, they play music from Psycho.
Yeah.
You can hear it, which is kind of funny. I was cracking up.
Definitely Kevin Williamson there. It's all meta references. Yeah.
When was the last time you watched the movie?
I've watched it.
Not Psycho, but H2O.
Oh, H2O. I haven't watched it like this year, but I've watched it tons of times. Like, I've seen it like 20 or 30 times, so I know it pretty well. So I didn't need to watch it for tonight, because I watch it about once a year. So.
Right.
So
But
yeah,
yeah,
like I
you
said,
brought up a good point. Like the original mask is still the best, and it's like this mask in this one. We've seen worse masks
mhm,
than the one in this one, but they could have did. I think they could have had a better mask. I mean,
mhm.
even though I was entertained by the film, but there's been worse masks. Let's be honest. There's
Yeah,
been worse
yeah.
masks. All right, April, thoughts on the movie?
Hmm. So the original Halloween, the 1978, is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Same.
Just because they did so much with so little. John Carpenter was so involved with every aspect of it, including writing the score we were talking about. Deborah Hill, his partner, helping to write it, to produce it, and they just made really a horror masterpiece and really set the tone for a lot of things to come. So it's just absolutely one of my favorite films. Now I have to admit, um, I think somewhere after they came out, I kind of became a horror film sequel snob because
Hmm.
they started getting really bad. Not just the Halloweens, but the Friday the 13th and all these franchises that started with really great creative original films. They started spinning out all these sequels that you would just hear how bad they were. And so a lot of them I didn't see. I
Hmm.
just, so yeah, I'm a bad horror sequel snob. Someday when I get older, I will watch all of them in
Yeah.
order, catch up on whatever I missed. But anyway, so I had actually not seen any of the ones in the middle when I saw this. In fact, I don't even think I had seen the second one before seeing this. But I liked that they brought Jamie Lee Curtis back. And so that was kind of the thing for me that attracted me to this and made me want to see it, that they were going to close out her story. And so, like you said, there's a new Halloween that got rebooted in order to close out her story on a second timeline, ignoring this one. But this is the first time they tried to do that. And I know I liked it when it came out because I bought a DVD, and I only buy DVDs if it's something that I really liked and I knew I'd want to see
Nice.
again in life. So I know I really liked it when it came out. When I was watching it again, I think it does have a lot of interesting layers in it that make it fun for me to watch. So you guys already talked about Janet Leigh being in it, and I did look it up, and it said she and her daughter Jamie Lee Curtis had been together on The Love Boat and In the Fog, and then in this. And when Janet Leigh appeared in this, she had not been in a film for 18 years. So the fact that they put them back on screen together and brought them together, because that's kind of because of Janet Leigh and Psycho is sort of why John Carpenter and Deborah Hill got Jamie Lee Curtis to be the star for this, because she was the daughter of a famous scream queen. So it is sort of that scream queen tradition thing coming full circle, that they made a choice to do. And I also think it's a super strong cast across the board. Michelle Williams is in it. Josh Hartnett, if I'm not mistaken, it was his first film. Joseph Gordon-Levitt was a child actor, but I think as sort of a teen, this was sort of his first role. And he does have a great kill, like you said, with the hockey boot. And then even like LL Cool J as the guard, I don't know that he had been cast in anything before this. And of course, he went on to have a little TV career and all that. So the casting, sustains over time. But I think the for me, when I started looking up, who are the pieces, and the director, Steve Miner, he started directing some of the bad sequels. Friday the 13th, Part 2 and Part 3 is how he got his start. And then, a couple films here and there, but he's mostly directed a lot of TV. And if there's one criticism about this, it does kind of feel like it could be TV, especially nowadays. By today's standards, this could easily be something on TV. And also the influence of Kevin Williamson, which you guys talked about. So apparently he had originally written a treatment for it, and he may have also done passes on the script that didn't end up getting credited. And you kind of feel like in this era, in the mid 90s to late 90s, he really was the person putting the footprint on this genre with Scream, with I Know What You Did Last Summer. And then, of course, he did Dawson's Creek, and you have Michelle Williams in this and in Dawson's Creek. And just the idea of the teen relationship drama coming into horror in a different way, where kind of the drama is almost more prominent than the scares, and where it's sort of not really winking, but sort of there's layers to the awareness of other things that came before and that style that Kevin Williamson had. So I feel like I see that all over this, and in the style of the time, you have to put this film in context, that's sort of what the genre was doing at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so, when you put all those pieces together, for me, sort of bringing back Jamie Lee Curtis to face off against Michael Myers, once and for all, I think everything about that was very satisfying. And when I rewatched it a couple weeks ago preparing for this, I felt like it all held up in context for the time. It's very done. It's very well delivered. Now, the other thing, you're going to get to the killing scene at the end. And I wanted to say that was another thing that I really observed watching it again now. So as you know, I made a documentary about stunt women, about Hollywood stunt women. And one of the stunt women that's in my documentary, named Donna Wheeler, she was Jamie Lee Curtis's main stunt double for her whole career. And so when it came around to this film, Donna was the stunt coordinator. You don't have women stunt coordinating that often on studio films. So
nice.
So that was the power of Jamie Lee Curtis, bringing her stunt woman into the project. And so I really noticed that, with my, perspective that I have today on stunts in particular, and especially on women's stunts, I really felt like watching it again, the way the action worked, the way the kills worked, and especially the way that Laurie Strode's character was empowered, and how she fought and what she did, and the level of, action and fight sequences and what happened was really great. And again, especially for that era, and especially for a female character. And I think that a lot of that was the hands of the female stunt coordinator, really pushing those limits and really trying to do great things for Jamie Lee and for this character. So I had an extra level of appreciation for what was happening there when I watched it.
Nice. All right. No, thanks for sharing that. That's pretty awesome. That is awesome information. But yeah, I got some little bootleg notes over here. Hopefully, I can read my writing. But but yeah, I enjoy the beginning of the film, especially with the bootleg Donald Pleasance narration. But it was really good. It was a great opening credit scene where you see all the newspaper panels. I mean, on the wall.
He had already died, so they had someone mimic him. Is that what I read?
Yes, but also the original audio or negative or something from the film had been damaged, so they couldn't even use that. So they just had to re-record it and do someone who sounded like him. And I think he just passed away shortly before the movie came out as well.
Oh, okay. But yeah, it was a great scene. I like how that whole setup, kind of giving, people who are new to the franchise, like, oh, this happened. This went down.
Although I did feel like that opening nurse scene went on too long. At least by today's standards, it just seemed like a really, really long opening sequence.
Yeah, I guess so, a little bit, because she went to the next house, because they kind of set it up, I guess, in a way that she was going to get killed in her house,
right?
And then she's fine, and then she goes to the next house, and that's where she dies. So it's kind of, maybe that's why it felt a little lengthy. That could be it too.
Multiple parts. It's a multiple part in the opening.
Yeah, but again, before the whole theme song kicks in, and you have the newspaper clippings on the wall because they're in Loomis's room. I love how the cop goes, "Michael Myers." Yeah, right. Like before the theme song kicks in. I mean, that was great. And it was. I thought the movie did well in terms of showing Strode still, struggling. Having nightmares, waking up. She looks into reflection. She sees Michael there. She looks at people walking down a dark alley. What was that?
drinking as well. She's having multiple glasses of wine and everything. Yeah.
The other thing I liked in the beginning, after those, I think it was after the first kills, when they're trying to show the contrast of now it's like this nice, utopia, family-oriented world, and I think they had like a real long tracking shot to kind of bring you into the contrast of the worlds. I thought that was a nice opening to the film too.
With the Mr. Sandman song.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's
Wasn't that in
fine.
Halloween 2? That one was it Halloween 2 that was used. I think it was Mr. Sandman.
It's been a while.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be
the
surprised.
second one,
It's been a
so
while.
throw back to the second movie. Yeah.
But yeah, it was nice to see Strode. That she's still struggling. As anyone would struggle after experiencing that, and she's very protective of her son. He wants to go out and hang with he wants to be a teenager, and there's that conflict. He's just kind of like, can we try to move on?
He wasn't a dick though, what you like. They could have easily made him, really unlikable and obnoxious, and he wasn't. And I thought, no, actually, he's right. He's actually correct, and she move on. But then, of course, that she couldn't.
No, it's a good point. That's a good point. He wasn't a dick in terms of. Yeah, here's a good example. The granddaughter from 2018 telling her to get over it. I was like, really? Seriously, in that movie? He. Go ahead.
Since I haven't seen them, you guys maybe can fill me in. So I read in parts 3, 4, 5, 6 that because they couldn't have Jamie Lee Curtis in them, that they created a character that was her daughter who was the one battling him, right? So in that part, she had a daughter who was carrying his, and then they're like, okay, forget that. She didn't have a daughter. Now she has a son. We reboot this. So
we're gonna reboot it.
I guess that's kind of interesting.
There isn't really any logic to it. The timeline is like such a mess. You're just like, what?
And what is it with Myers and restrooms in movies?
Yeah.
In this movie, he was in restrooms. And Rob Zombie, and then the 2018 movies. That's his hangout spot, man. That's where he changes his clothes. He upgrades vehicles.
You don't attack people in their toilet. That's me time. That's not cool, Michael.
Oh man! Oh, chat says yes,
Mr.
Oh, go ahead.
In the car at the gate, and with LL Cool J, it's like there's a madman on the loose. What? This car is like pulling up. Oh, that doesn't look suspicious. Let me go look for him. Like that. That was kind of a stretch, but.
And Myers just walked by.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like goes right in the background.
It's like,
was that like a phone call with his girlfriend or something?
Yeah, reading out movie scripts because he was like a writer and he'd be like writing books or scripts or something, isn't it? Yeah, and he'd be reading it out.
Plot line for a movie script. Yeah,
it's like it was like a romantic script, and stuff like that, which is kind of funny.
Pulled it off, like he made that awkward sort of not maybe quite logical scene work.
Yeah, it was good, and it's funny. I always like to point out the fun fact that we have a black character that survived 2 horror movies because everyone forgets he survived in Deep Blue Sea. So you have this movie and You Ate My Bird, Deep Blue Sea, where he was the cook. Come on, black character as a security guard and black character as a cook didn't die in 2 horror movies. I think we should applaud that.
He must have had it in his contract.
I love Deep Blue Sea.
I know, isn't Deep Blue Sea fun? Oh my god, that's a fun movie. But yeah, and she meets with her boyfriend. They have lunch, Strode, and she wants to tell him about her past, but she can't bring herself to do it yet until later in the movie. But she brings up that she's seen, help groups, shrinks, therapy. They do show. They do have her talk about that kind of stuff, which I think is very important. You know what I mean? A lot as awesome as it is to see her as Rambo in the 2018 version, and her performance is great in the 2018 version. A lot of people thought that was I felt kind of fast. Like from her to go through from there to.
Yeah. In the new relaunch, she's more like a doomsday prepper. She's she's like Sarah Connor of Halloween, where she's like,
I
remember thinking that. I was like, oh,
and she's been prepping for years, and you're like I liked that one too.
Yeah,
but it's interesting, different choices for.
Yeah, that's a better analogy. Sarah Connor in that one.
2018 does have some good kills, though. I mean, despite what people say about 2018, Michael Myers does stomp on a guy's head, which I think is probably
that's the best kill in that movie. That was amazing. Just the head just shattering. Yeah. That was great. But another reason why I wanted to bring up this movie in terms of it being underrated. Now, underrated doesn't necessarily mean we think it's the greatest movie of all time or the best in the franchise. That's not what we mean.
I looked it up on Rotten Tomatoes. 52% from critics and 49% from viewers. So that's like a 50-50 score. Totally.
Right.
No. I remember I got good reviews at the time. I think Empire gave 5 stars at the time.
75.
Yeah, definitely.
75, 78%. It should be. So
definitely.
Yes, it's underrated.
Yeah, it is. And it's just one of those things where I can bring it up now just for fun. I feel that when the movie came out, it was fun to watch. It obviously is not better than the original, of course. But it was a fun idea, and it was a fun movie to watch. But I think the stank of Halloween Resurrection has attached itself to this movie. And I think it's tainted this movie, unfortunately.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised. Right. I wouldn't be surprised if that's why it's, people don't really, not everyone. I mean, we enjoy the film, but there's a lot of people out there that don't really look back fondly on this because it has that attachment to it. Just kind of ruins it a little bit. Not for us. We can choose. We could pull a Joker from the Batman and go, yeah. From 1989 Batman, we could do a Jack Nicholson. But I think that did not help its case, I feel. And another reason why I wanted to choose this for an underrated is because no one really talks about this movie.
Yeah.
You hear more talk about the other sequels because they're bonkers, especially the one that Paul Rudd is in, and both cuts of those. I mean, it's so bizarre, right? You hear more talk about that. No one really talks about H2O, which is why I wanted to bring it up. But people recently, well, not recently, but in 2018, people have started to slowly talk about H2O because they're comparing 2018 H2O. Now they remember now, whether they're fans of H2O or not. Now they're starting to remember and they're comparing because there was a discussion brought up now. That's another reason why I chose this movie is because now people are talking about Halloween H2O now. They're talking about it now. They're comparing it because some people were like, I feel H2O did it better. As much as entertaining as 2018 is, some people feel in terms of the development of the character was a little bit more satisfying and realistic in H2O than in 2018, right? So there's this debate. You think so?
Yeah, I do, because I said, H2O captures the spirit of the original. As somebody said in the comment here, where was it? Archive of YouTube videos has good shooting locations. The settings are relatable and slightly nostalgic, sort of like the school and Scream, and it feels like Halloween, and there is that sort of feeling of Halloween, and that's why I like it. I think the 2018 one, it's not bad, but I just think I prefer Laurie as a character, as when she was Carrie Tate and everything, and I prefer Josh Hartnett's son to whatever the character's name was and whoever played him.
Exactly.
Couldn't even tell you.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like 2018. It's a very well made movie. Soundtrack's phenomenal. You get some good kills. It's a well made film, and I find it entertaining. It's just I enjoy H2O better, and I'm sure I'm in the minority of that. Hold on a second. We got a super chat here. Adam Evans, thank you, my friend, for supporting the channel. Goes off topic. I just hope Halloween Kills won't be a nostalgia thing because of the characters they are bringing back from Carpenter's Halloween. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with that.
I'll be there opening night though. So.
Yeah, you got to message me, man.
Who are they bringing back? Have they said? Who do they have?
It's in the trailer. You see, Sheriff Brackett, who's retired. He's like 1,000 years old now or something.
Okay.
And then Tommy and Lindsay, growing up from the original. So, so right. I'm intrigued. And it looks like there's going to be some good kills.
Can I tell you the funniest thing? This ties back to what I was saying. So Halloween, like I said, one of my favorite films. I've seen it probably 100 times. Like it's just one of my top favorite of any genre, any film all time. And I had seen number 2 maybe once and then sort of forgot about it. And then when I was rewatching this, because I hadn't, kept watching it or whatever, I was like, wait, she keeps saying Michael Myers is her brother. And I do have to say that, like, because I'm such an original Halloween kind of purist in my love for the film, she wasn't his brother. There was a sister and there was Michael Myers, and he killed the sister, and then that was
Judith.
it.
Yeah.
And he put his attention on Laurie Strode because he was already in his old house, and she came up to put the key under the mat or whatever. And so because he saw her, that's why he fixated on her. Okay.
Right.
And so that was the story of the first film. And then when I saw this and she kept saying he's my brother, I'm like, where did they just make that up for this film, or where did that come? And then I realized that had come in part two.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't like that. I mean, I guess it's there, and Jamie Lee Curtis did part two, and it became part of it.
But it's kind of like they did that with Spectre when they made Blofeld like related to James Bond, and you're like, what? They're not related. Yeah. So I don't like whenever they kind of do that.
In there, I get it's part of the whole thing, and it's not a chapter that they threw away, so it's there. But being somebody who's just really more about the original, and that was the thing that fixated Michael Myers, not because he was crazy and he knew he also had a sister who was adopted, so he needed to go find her because he had killed the other. I just don't like it. I don't like that logic. I don't like that. It's her real brother. I don't know. I mean, it's too far down the road, but yeah, I'm very much a purist around the original, and then I like this one sort of gave her a chance to finally confront him and defeat him as an older woman and older character when he came back to get her. So for me, those two kind of work. H2O and the original really worked together in that way. For her character, which was the whole objective of the whole thing, to give her a chance to confront him one-on-one and kill him once and for all. So we did anyway. So I liked that part. But yeah, it did throw me for a loop because I was like, wait, her brother? Did that really happen? And then I had to go back and watch 2, and I'm like, yeah, I guess that they did come up with that there, but I don't know with that. But yeah, I don't.
I actually liked the second one. I thought the second one was pretty entertaining.
Yeah, I liked the second one too, but making them related,
right?
Like, that's a little weak, but whoever thought of that? Somebody.
But I think there's no. I think there's no going back now. I think it's going to be like that forever.
It's not. It's still
oh man, but no, that was a good point to bring up there. And because of the time, there is some cheesy bad jump scares in this movie. Not as bad as the Paul Rudd Halloween. That had 30 jump scares in that movie, Owen?
Oh, something
there was
like that, yeah.
So many jump scares in that movie.
Which one is the Paul Rudd? Because now
Sixth
I'll
one.
watch that one next.
That's The Curse of Michael Myers. Yeah, that's 6.
And there's 2 versions of it.
The producer's cut, and neither is good.
I feel like I might have actually seen that one, but I'll have to go.
Probably have. You probably have.
It's in my brain.
There's a couple of cool kills, though. I mean, someone gets killed by a combine harvester thing in it, and the guy gets electrocuted. So there are a couple of good kills in it.
Oh yeah, I kind of remember that.
Oh, the head blowing up. That was fun.
Yeah.
But that movie is so bonkers, man. But anyway, but yeah, you do get some cheesy jump scares here and there, but it's not as bad as you see some.
I
other
like
movies,
jump scares.
definitely.
I enjoy them. What's the point?
Huh. Not when you get a phone call and it's like,
oh, yeah. Or it's a cat, and you're like, whenever it's a cat, and you're like, oh, bloody cat.
Cat. Oh man. Let's see here. Where are we at here? Mike Myers sneaks into the school, just walks right by LL Cool J, just chilling. He just walks right by him. And then, of course, we get to some iconic shots here. Really good shots in this movie.
Yeah, I like that.
You definitely get some great iconic shots in the film. And, of course, it's time to pick off the teenagers. And he does his thing. That's right. Stabbity, stab.
I like the mask there.
Yeah. Someone in chat said there were 4 masks used in this movie. Did you know that?
Yeah. Some of them were apparently enhanced with CG, and I think I know exactly when the part that was. Yeah.
No way. How funny is that?
There's a scene towards the end. You know, whenever Laurie and Michael are at a door and they're looking at each other through the window, and Michael comes up and this is the first time they sort of come face to face with each other, and the mask he's wearing there, I was like, what the hell? That's not the mask he was wearing earlier.
Right. This shot right here, right? This iconic shot.
Yeah.
This one. Bam.
No, that mask was okay.
Okay.
No, there's a
great shot though.
Yeah, that's a great shot. No,
it's one of the best parts of the film. Yeah. You know.
No, there's one where you see the mask and it's really stupid looking. I can't remember where it is. Damn it! See, now I should watch this movie. It's been a couple of years since I watched it. I can't remember the scene. There's a scene where he's wearing a mask and it just looked really stupid. There's like no facial expression on it or whatever. It's the worst one.
But yeah, you know, it's time to go after the teens. Time to hunt the son because it's his 17th birthday. So it's time to go after him because Laurie was 17 in the first movie. If we're following that continuity,
his nephew.
I know, right? And I enjoyed this kill, the impalement there. Yeah. Him just lifting up the boyfriend.
Yeah,
he's been it. That was really good. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, that's a good.
And some great shots. You know, it's a pretty good cinematography in the film. I enjoyed it. Where are you going? Yeah, you know, we're having fun here. That's what these movies are all about, fun. Now it's time for me to kind of go insane here. So.
All right, you're gonna do the ending.
Yeah.
You're gonna go through the ending.
Yes, it's time.
Do it.
So, again, I haven't watched this in a long time. So watching it last night, I was entertained. I laughed here and had fun. I was enjoying the movie, and Jamie's always great. And then when it got to the finale throwdown, I forgot how badass the finale throwdown was. I was just like, what? She sends the son and daughter to go away. Sends them out to she could have drove with them and got away. She's like, no, fuck this. Okay? Fuck this. She sends them out, closes the gate, grabs the axe, busts the button so that Myers cannot get out, and then walks back up the hill, the driveway there, gets to the top. She stands there holding the axe. The light is coming on her. You see a dark, shadowy silhouette behind her, and she screams out, "Michael!" And right after that, the theme song kicks in, and I said, "Fuck yes!" This is why we are horror fans. Yeah. It's because of moments like this, you know. And she goes in there, and we finally she's like, "Fuck this! I'm done. I'm coming. I'm gonna kill you."
Like I said, that's what this whole film was about. Mm-hmm. Was her chance to, you know, confront him once and for all and take care of business and get rid of it. I mean, you're right, because she's been the victim in the other film. So again, you have to skip over the ones she wasn't in, but 1 and 2, she fights. She's the heroine.
Yeah.
But she's pursued. She's victimized, and then here she in that moment you just described, she flips it around. And now she's like, "No, I'm the one coming for you, Michael Myers." That's right.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, this is like this. I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get a lot of flack for this. I'm gonna get a lot of flack, and that's fine. We have to be honest here. But in my opinion, this confrontation finale fight throwdown in this movie, whether you like the movie or not, you have to agree, is the best confrontation fight throwdown in the entire franchise up to this point. In my opinion. I'm talking about fight, throwdown, confrontation, in my opinion. It's in 2018, I thought it went on too long. Searching the house, going to room. Yeah,
it wasn't
kind of was getting bored.
Like, it's more powerful in H2O when she's like, "Michael!" But she doesn't do that in this one. She doesn't really have that moment where you're like, "Yeah, go kick his ass." And, you know,
right, in 2018, in
2018, so it never quite lives up to, which is why I prefer H2O.
I'm sure everyone will disagree with me on that, but I have to be honest here. I mean, in terms of...
I enjoyed about this one, like, it's almost like the confrontation had its own chapters. like this happens, and then it keeps going, and then there's like a whole next chapter, and then there's a whole next chapter. Like, so there's all these sort of like pieces to the confrontation, which is really cool how all that action is designed. So
yeah, and all three of us, we love action, which is probably like we probably like really like this scene a lot.
I'm not a big fan of action.
No? Yeah, I knew you were a fraud.
Kind of guy. Do you remember that in H20 they actually used some of the music score to Scream 2?
Oh, did they?
And then in the finale, yeah. I don't know what the issue was. I've never been able to sort of find out what the...
Oh, interesting.
There must be some copyright issue or something like with the music.
Oh.
Why it was called Portrait of Terror.
Maybe.
But I remember when I was watching, I was like, that's music to Scream 2.
Okay. They kind of cheated a little bit there. But yeah, she comes back in there, and Myers comes down like a ninja. Are you kidding me? This is fucking awesome. I don't care if it's not realistic or not. Myers is a ninja, and I'm loving it. Right? And they go at it, man. She hits him with the axe. He stabs her with the knife. I mean, this is, like April pointed out, this is several different sequences of fight. This is a fight. This is how you do not give the audience blue balls. This is satisfaction. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is just phenomenal. And this is a straight up scrap, man. Like, she threw knives at him, whole bunch of different knives at him. Look at this. We gonna fight. We gonna get it. I mean, this is phenomenal. She even kicks Myers in the nuts. He kind of makes a funny face there. It's made me laugh. Myers won.
Where she's hiding under the tables, and he's on top of the tables. They're right there.
And again, it's one of those things when you have a woman stunt coordinator, she's thinking, how is Laurie going to fight as a woman? What is she going to do? What is she going to use? And I think that's also what makes this so satisfying, because it does feel real. Like, it doesn't feel like, oh, she's suddenly got ninja skills too, or whatever.
Right.
It's just it is a great action, fight sequence, and then it keeps going.
It keeps going, baby. Like, here it comes. She just comes out of nowhere, stabs him like 8 times. 8 times stabs him, pushes him over the balcony. He falls all the way down. I mean, we're still going. This is phenomenal. Phenomenal.
And he's like,
look at this. Look at this fight. Look, they're swinging. They are swinging. This is so great.
And then
then she runs.
Is the way she thought she killed him the first time in the original Halloween.
Right.
So you go there, but then it keeps going.
Yeah, and then she runs down there to instead of double tap, triple stab or whatever, to finish him off. And Cool J, he's actually survived, and he grabs her. He's like, no, don't. He's dead. Whatever. No, we ain't done. The cops showed up. Myers' body's loaded into the van. She comes out guns blazing. Well, she doesn't shoot anybody. She brings out the pieces, takes over the van, drives off. She wants to make sure this motherfucker's dead. This is phenomenal. I think people forget how entertaining this finale is. Yes. All right? He wakes up in the van. She puts on the brakes. He flies through the windshield, and then she runs him over. This is phenomenal, right? And of course, I'll let April talk about the ending part. Of course, the cherry on top. Go ahead, April. What happens after that?
Are you talking about she beheads him?
Before that.
Well, it's going to lead up to that. But yeah, I like that moment where he's kind of he's pinned, to the tree, and he's kind of reaching out for her.
I mean, that alone would have killed him. I mean, the car landed on his spine. I mean, he's dead.
Well, yeah,
so
of course.
When you talk about action sequences, so first you have a hand-to-hand combat with weapons sequence, and then you think, okay, he could be dead, he could whatever, but she knows he's not. So then it goes into the next chapter of the action sequence, which is now the car sequence, the car stunts, all that. So then that's like part 2, but then it's not done. Then it keeps going. Yeah,
it's phenomenal, and he's all pinned, and she comes around there, and he reaches out, and for a second, he's like, it almost looks like he has some emotion in his eyes. He's reaching out to his sister, and she reaches out her hand to touch his hand, and then she's like, hold on. Man, fuck this dude. Oh, wrong clip, sorry.
Wrong movie.
Here we go. Bah! There can be only one. Highlander style, son. Yeah. Phenomenal. See the head rolling on the ground. boop, right in front of the camera. She stands there looking like a badass. Credits.
And that's the end of the Halloween franchise. Or is it?
Yes, goddammit.
It bloody well should be.
Actually, when I rewatched a couple weeks ago, I'd forgotten that it went that far, that she just completely, beheaded him and that his head rolled. And I thought that was like the perfect ending. Because again, at this one, it does keep going, but with this one, you're supposed to feel like she got him once and for all. She killed him. It's over for her. Her entire character arc is done with this film. But of course, as we know, it keeps going.
Unfortunately.
And then you got the space-time continuum going on another branch right now.
Space-time continuum. I like that. But I know, like, we can
Back to the Future.
I know. I'm going to continue to choose. Now, can you watch Resurrection and laugh at how bad it is and get some entertainment out of it? You can. There's actually fans for Resurrection.
It's the only one I don't watch. I think I've watched it once or maybe twice. I find it awful.
Owen says, I have a limit on my B movies. He's like, I have a limit, man. But I don't know. Myers is allergic to rappers. He just can't kill rappers in his movies, man. Maybe in Halloween Kills they should have Lil Wayne up in there or something, and then take Myers out. He just can't do it. But yeah, I Resurrection does exist, and it is the stink on that is on this movie, unfortunately.
Yeah.
However, we as film fans can choose what we want. We don't have to go all in and say, "Hey, Terminator Genesis is canon, and it's my favorite." No, you could say, "Hey, only Terminator 1 and 2 happened, baby." You can choose as film fans. Yeah, But but yeah, way more satisfying finale than 20.
Resurrection like undoes everything that she went through and what everybody went through.
Yeah.
HBO. So it's a complete waste of time. So,
and it's really, really reaching with that plot. That writing how to get out of that. Oh, it's another guy. He's got something over his mouth. He can't talk. I mean, that's reaching even for Halloween.
Like really, really.
Yeah, even for a Halloween sequel, that's reaching.
Yeah. You have a level of disbelief, a suspension of disbelief, but then you're like, no.
Oh man. Oh. Samurai's positivity is awesome. Well, thank you. But yeah, it was definitely a lot of fun revisiting the movie, and even though I was enjoying it along the way, that finale kicked in and reminded me this is why this is one of my favorites in the franchise, and it doesn't get talked enough about. You know what I mean?
I just looked up on Rotten Tomatoes. The 2018 Halloween is like 79 critics and 70 audience, so it's getting higher ratings. But I think what you were saying is true, that you have to put it in context of the time period. That like a horror audience today is going to like that and rate that higher. And then this movie came out before there was Rotten Tomatoes, so these are all retrospective reviews, not sort of do I love it when it comes out. And I think context is everything. So you put this in context with I Know What You Did Last Summer, with Scream and Scream 2 and this movie. They're all kind of in the same family that was the tone and the style of these films at that time period. And if you watch all those, like those four films together, watch Scream, Scream 2, I Know What You Did Last Summer, and H20, you'll see that it holds up just as much as the rest of those, because that's just sort of, you got to put the time period of what was in style.
Urban Legend. That's one of your favorites. You like that?
I love Urban Legend.
That's another one that's terribly rated. We could do, yeah.
Oh, really? Is it?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
What, do you have it in front of you? Let's just look it up just for fun. Since we're checking.
I'm right on the website. Yeah, Urban Legend, I actually really loved. And when we looked it up before, it was really low.
Oh, no. I must have forgotten. Okay.
Yes, hold
on. Urban Legend was... I watched it earlier this year again. And it was goofy fun.
Same year as this film.
Wow. Look at that.
Urban Legend, critics 24%, audience 37%. That's not right.
Oh, come on.
That is not correct.
Come on. That's way too low. Even if you think the movie's goofy fun, that's too low.
Yeah.
That's way too low. Oh, well, we have a future episode in the future. We can do.
There we go.
But yeah, this was fun. Definitely fun revisiting this with you two. And of course, you can all agree here. Everyone is watching. We all agree that is this movie underrated? Yes. In the context and in the Halloween franchise itself, it is underrated. It is overlooked, in our opinion.
And
so
I
we
want
want
to
to
watch
know.
2018, the David Gordon Green one again. Now that I've watched this one again, because they both had the same, they both had the same objective of giving Laurie Strode the opportunity to finally, fight him face to face. So they're
Yeah, you should. I actually watched 2018 right after H20 because I wanted to see the finale again before I make that bold statement that this has the best finale fight face-off in the franchise.
Yeah.
And it doesn't.
Finale.
Yeah, way more satisfying in H20. You know what? Technically, this could have been a good Versus episode, actually. H20 and 20.
Yeah.
Can't do it now. We can't do it now because we already talked about it. But that would have been good. But it's definitely a lot of fun revisiting this with you two. Badasses. And I did do a poll at the last minute just for fun. And let's see if the internet thinks H20 is underrated.
Good.
Look at that. They feel it's underrated too. Check that out. I was kind of surprised, actually. I thought it was. Yeah, I thought it was going to be the other way. But yeah, this was a lot of fun. This was a blast. Thanks everyone, all you badasses and channel members and patrons that help support the channel, keep it going. Y'all know what you need to do. That's right. Follow Owen on the Action Elite Son. That's right. He's got phenomenal content over there. What do you got coming out soon?
Tomorrow
What's
night,
next?
we're doing a live stream on our YouTube channel. We're going to be talking about Miami Vice, which is one of my favorite TV shows because I never left the 80s. And then Friday night, we're going to be doing a retrospective on the Daniel Craig James Bond movies after we see No Time to Die on Wednesday. So that's what we're going to do.
There you go. And also follow April Wright. Her Instagram page is in the description box below. Follow her. I'm sure she's got phenomenal stuff coming up. We are rooting for both of you. That's right. Huge success. But this was a lot of fun talking movies, as always. And I know you guys will be back again because Samurai keeps bugging you.
Can't get rid of us.
And if you're into this, watch my documentary Stunt Women, because we have Jamie Lee Curtis's stunt double, and she talks about doubling Jamie Lee in True Lies in the helicopter out of the limo.
It's insane.
Yeah, same woman did that coordinated this, so she's
yeah.
I should cover it on my website. That's kind of what the site is about. What's it called?
A Stunt Woman: The Untold Hollywood Story. And
Right.
Donna Wheeler was the stunt woman who coordinated H20.
You got to check it out, man.
I'll cover it on the
Yeah.
site. For sure.
Yeah, it's a really, really, really great documentary. We got to check that out. And it blew my mind, not to get off topic a little bit, when April actually shows footage from the silent era. Bro, there were badass stunt women in the silent era, bro. Like, I was like, whoa, this is insane. Blowing my mind. But yeah, they're a lot more braver and tougher than Samurai Guy, I tell you that right now. All right. Thanks again, April, for hanging out. Owen as well. And tomorrow, guys, we'll see what comes on the channel. We'll see. We might do a stream. We might do some horror movie reviews tomorrow. We'll see. Wednesday, going to have a special guest early in the morning on the podcast at 11 a.m. Thursday's Versus at 6 p.m. Keeping it horror. That's right, this week. And Friday, we have another special guest. So busy week for the channel. Thanks again for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.
Oh, Donna Keegan. I got her name wrong the whole time. I'm Donna Keegan.
Okay. I didn't end it yet. Donna Keegan.
I had Wheeler in my head. Donna Keegan.